Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of our Super Comedy Bros podcast.
Yeah, it's been a busy bit of a week. You're probably aware if you've been watching us. It normally goes up on Monday, which we usually record on Sunday. It is neither of those days.
No, it's not. It has been a weekend/week and a half.
Yeah.
For me, especially, this whole Easter weekend, I was sick. Then my fiance was sick. And then my dog was sick.
That's a country song right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. It was so bad we had to buy a steam cleaner.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah.
For all those dog owners out there. It was one of those.
Ooh, yeah.
It was very poopy. Very poopy situation.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less eventful on my end. Just been busy with work and other little things like that. I managed to find the time to watch Ready Player One, which is what we're going to be talking about, obviously.
Yeah.
I sit down a little bit with my Super Nintendo Classic, which I hadn't really spent much time with. We can talk more on that in the retro corner.
I figure that we could probably just do that, and then since Ready Player One will probably take up a good chunk of time.
It's a good idea. We'll start with that.
We'll do like a mini podcast episode, and then we'll 15 minutes? We'll hit off the Ready Player One review, which I'm sure people are excited to hear about.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or maybe. Yeah, it's a pretty divisive movie, surprising. Not surprising. I'm not surprised. Why would anybody be surprised about that? But yeah, no, so yeah, I've been doing I've been playing more of my Super Nintendo Classic, which I was super excited about, and I played it, because I ended up getting it for Christmas, and I played it, Christmas morning, and then it was like, that was fun. And then I just hadn't had a chance to pick it up because most of the games on there that I've been wanting to play are like RPGs, and it's like, man, you got to commit to that. But I was like, I hadn't played much Kirby, so I picked up it's a Kirby Superstar.
That's what, 4 games or 8 games?
Yeah, it's something like that. It's like, I think it's 6.
Like all of them, right?
Well, it's like 6 self-contained. They're all original. Well, one of them is a remake of the first Kirby game, and then the rest are kind of like their own deal.
Okay.
And they're all about the length of the original Kirby game, more or less. Some longer, some not. And they're all pretty fun. They're all their own little vignette. Like there's the first one, which was the the very first original game. They just added the copy ability because they didn't have that in the original game.
Okay.
The original Game Boy game. And that was fun because that was one of the games I did have on the original Game Boy. And it was one of my favorite games. One of the first games I guess I beat on my own completely.
Kirby games are funny because they're like, when you pick them up, you're kind of expecting them to be like old school Nintendo difficult.
Yeah.
And like 20 minutes later, you beat it and you go, that's weird. And then you realize, I'm only like 10% of the way through the game.
Yeah.
Like I have to go back.
It's so crazy. But like man, who said, somebody said this at one point. I think it was somebody on Game Explain. Game Explain. They're a pretty good YouTube channel if you don't watch them. They mostly focus on Nintendo content, but they're really good. But I think it was somebody on there said that Kirby is the most consistent title out of Nintendo. Not in the gameplay so much, because they actually change up Kirby quite a bit from time to time and do unique things with him. But it's the most consistently good. Like, there's no duds.
What about the racing one?
Oh, that was actually one of my favorites.
Really?
Yeah.
Usually racing games are kind of like...
Yeah, no, like normally, like, when it's like a franchise,
except for Mario.
Yeah, Mario.
Diddy Kong.
Yeah, but that one wasn't... So that one was actually its own thing?
Yeah, it's rare, right?
Yeah, that was its own thing, and then they're like...
Put Diddy Kong.
Nobody's gonna play this game. It's really good, but, like, it doesn't have like a kart racer without a name on it won't sell.
Yeah.
And so they're
like... It was like all of Rare's characters. Because like Conker's in there.
Yeah, it was some original... It was mostly original characters, but then also their own characters, like Banjo and Conker.
Yeah.
And then a couple others. And then they were like, well, we'll throw Diddy in there and then make it Diddy Kong.
Because Rare owned Diddy Kong.
Yeah, it was a weird...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like...
Like, Rare created Diddy Kong.
Yeah.
And, like, somehow, through their breakups and legal issues, now Diddy is owned by Nintendo, but Nintendo didn't create Diddy.
Yeah, well, because, like, they were... Mostly... They were... It's like Nintendo owned them, but they didn't own them.
Mm-hmm.
It was a weird situation.
Very weird.
So, yeah. That's why he... Well, yeah. But that's why Diddy wasn't in for the longest time the sports titles.
Yeah.
Because it was like a weird situation.
Yeah.
But then when they parted, they like the way they drew the lines.
Because Junior was in a few of them, right? Donkey Kong Jr.
Which was weird because the current Donkey Kong is Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah. So it was Donkey Kong and then like a baby version of him.
Yeah, which I guess that's not weird because they have Baby Mario in there all the time.
That's true.
So yeah, but yeah, Kirby. But like most consistently good game. The Kirby Air Ride game was actually really good though. I actually am upset that I think I sold my copy a long time ago because I think I need to track down another copy because it was like really fun. But yeah, I've been playing it. It's really good. They've got a few different game modes and it's pretty good variety. So there's that first one which is just like the first game recapped. There's one that's a race game where you race King Dedede.
Okay.
There's one, the Great Cave Offensive is like an open world, kind of, where it's like, or more like I guess there are sort of branching paths, so it's kind of open world, but like it's a little more linear than that, but almost kind of like a Metroid type field, and it's like you basically... There's a list of treasures and you're getting them as you go through.
It's pretty neat.
And then like they each have like their own feel, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, like all things. That's also the game, the Superstar Meta Knight's Revenge, which is one of the games on there, is the first appearance of his like battleship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been pretty fun playing some Kirby. I think I think maybe when I've beaten that game, I might. Pick up Donkey Kong Country because that's another game I haven't played in ages.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
There's usually nothing ever good about being sick, but I was going to film because I picked up the GB Boy Color, like knockoff Game Boy Color, and I've been filming some stuff because I want to be able to put out a review, and I wanted to put it out sooner than later.
Yeah.
But being sick, I really did not feel like dealing with cameras and all. But what I did do is actually get a lot of like test play.
Okay.
So I had my Game Boy Color, and then I had the GB Boy Color, and I've been playing Final Fantasy Adventure, which is actually Sword of Mana or Secret of Mana.
I think
it's the first Mana game.
Yeah, it's the one that because I think Secret of Mana is the one on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
and that's the one where you play as the kid and you find the sword.
Yeah.
So the Sword of Mana, I guess, is the one where it's the actual dude who beat the evil empire in the past or whatever.
Yeah, so Sword of Mana. But, of course, it's Final Fantasy Adventure. And it's kind of crazy because, like, it's the first game in the Mana series, but there's Chocobos and Moogles.
Yeah, it's...
Because, like, they're in there because that wasn't, like, a Final Fantasy thing. That was, like, a Square thing.
Yeah, it was before they had really nailed down, like, the specifics of, like, their different franchises. Yeah. So it's kind of like a Wild West.
It's kind of cool because, like, the little NPCs when you go to the village, you're like, oh, look, that's a white mage. Oh, look, that's a red mage. Like, oh, look, that's a thief. But they're not.
Yeah.
Well, the red mage kind of, he shoots fireballs, so that's cool. But, like, yeah, you'll just see, like, a woman, but it's, like, the white mage sprite.
Right. Because they were recycling sprites.
But it's super fun, hyper grindy.
Yeah. I mean, that's just old school JRPG, though.
Yeah. Yeah, but it plays like Secret of Mana, so it's like Zelda, but way more RPG.
Yeah.
Ish. But I've been having a great time with it, and what I was doing is I was swapping the cart between the Game Boy and the GB Boy, and kind of seeing like what the differences and everything were, and so I got probably close to halfway through the game.
Nice.
And yeah, that's about all I did. So I guess I can say I actually have some wear and tear on the hardware, so I feel like I have enough to say, okay, if I review this.
Right on. Yeah, those old school RPG, I mean, that's why they didn't catch on here for the longest time, because, early, like Dragon Warrior, I believe is what it's called here, right? The Dragon Quest game?
Yeah,
Dragon Warrior. Man, that game was, hardcore grind. You grind for an hour before you do, the first, quest or whatever.
Yeah, and it's slow.
Yeah.
And its battle theme, which is... it's a good... I don't know, the music in Dragon Quest is iconic, and I really like it on a Nintendo when you're hearing the same thing looped, and it's a very high pitch.
Yeah, because it's just got the one song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just loop. Whew.
Yeah.
No.
It can get to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so unless, you are just, JRPG nut and you love that style, it can get tedious real quick. And plus, it's not like Final Fantasy, so you're not seeing your sprites and the enemy sprites.
Yeah,
you're just seeing a still image of the enemy with maybe some shake animation when you hit it.
Yeah, it's what is it? Like Earthbound. That's the one I was.
Yeah.
Where it's just. Yeah. And that's how they all were for the longest time. I think Final Fantasy was if memory serves, kind of like a pioneer in that sense.
It was. I mean, but the Shin Megami series still does it.
I don't get how you...
And the art's good and stuff, but yeah...
how do you get away with that in 2018?
Yeah, and unless that's just your jam, it takes...
and that's one of those things, Shin Megami Tensei, that's one of those games where it's just it's got the hardcore fans.
Yeah. And
it hasn't really made new fans in a long time, I don't think.
No.
But it has those fierce ones.
Not Persona. Persona.
Yeah, I think Persona, in a way, I think is more... I don't want to say welcoming, because I know it has a curve, but there are aspects of it I think are a little more appealing to a newcomer.
Yeah.
But I don't know as much about Shin Megami Tensei, so maybe that's why. Because, just from what I've seen passively on Persona, it's been enough for me to kind of have, a feel of, I have an idea of this game. Whereas Shin Megami Tensei, it's there's, a blue demon guy.
They're good, but they're hard. I mean, they're oh, look, it's your first enemy. I hope you read the manual, and I hope you did your research. That type.
Yeah, Old Testament JRPG.
Yes.
Oof. And
so they're rough. Whereas Persona's really cool because it's almost kind of like Pokemon, where you're oh, it's a fire monster. I want to use my ice. Part I'm going to use the character that has ice attacks to fight him. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, from what I have gathered just from hearing people talk of it and what I've seen of it, the challenge in Persona is more of getting the ending you want or whatever, right? Because there's so many variables.
Yeah, it's it's managing your time.
Right. And then your interactions with different people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's it's resource management, but the resource is time.
Yeah, I could have messed up on fire versus ice, because I think fire beats ice, but wind beats fire. Anyway, it's a very Pokemon kind of style where you're oh, that guy is a giant ice cube. I'm sure my fire punching guy will do fire damage to him. And then if you do that, if you use the enemy's weakness, then you get extra attacks and stuff. So you can go into if you go into a fight and all the enemy types, you can just infinitely spam them and chain the attacks, and it's really cool. played Shin Megami Tensei 4 like a bunch of years ago, and it's kind of got the same thing, but like
was it like
way more RPG?
Was it before you lived in Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure because I know that you developed a little bit more of an appreciation for JRPGs there with the whole being on a train thing.
Yeah. So I actually on my iPhone played the first 3 Dragon Quests. I played. What's that game? With the little Precious Moment characters.
Bravely Default. Yeah, Bravely Default.
I did Bravely Default. I did The World Ends With You.
That one I've been wanting to play.
I did Persona 4. I played a lot of Monster Hunter. And I played both Phantasy Star portables.
Nice. I bet.
A lot of train time.
I bet specifically The World Ends With You is really fun to play there.
Yeah. Especially like when Shibuya is one of your stops.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh. Like,
that one's been on my list for a while, and then I was playing the DS Kingdom Hearts game.
Uh-huh.
And there's a world where you meet those characters.
That's cool.
And it was like, man, like they knocked it out of the park with with the aesthetics of that game.
Yeah. Visually it's awesome.
And
even
the characters were interesting too. Like just the little vignette that I got of their story.
Yeah. No, it's a really, really cool game, and I recommend it. I also recommend it on I know it's on iPhone, and it's probably on Android.
Mm-hmm.
Playing it on your phone or on your tablet, because it actually has more to the story and updated controls.
Really?
And it's a lot more fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
even though it's not bad on the DS.
Yeah.
It's still I would say one of the better games to have come out on the DS. But if getting a hold of that game in a DS seems like a daunting challenge, then just go and get it on iPhone, and I promise you it's a good experience on an iPhone, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's one of those games I feel needs to have a virtual console release or something, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's such a unique and fun game that it's kind of become a cult classic, but I think just because it flew under the radar at the time and it's so hard to get now. But I think that
I lucked out.
Oh, really?
On my copy, yeah.
Yeah. And so, I think that...
a week before I went to Japan, too. I was at a GameStop, and there was just one copy, and I was like, I want to buy it. I don't care how expensive it is.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
I think I could definitely see that being a especially fun game to play, when you're actually, in that area and whatnot.
Yeah. Another game that's incredibly fun, and forgive me, listeners, for saying this, is Akiba's Trip. Or Akiba Strip.
Yeah.
And
I've heard that game is deceptively fun.
It is really fun.
Really?
It is insanely fun. And you can't describe it to anybody. If someone's like, what are you playing? You can't be like, oh, I'm playing this game where you're an otaku in Akiba and there's vampires, so you got to strip them of their clothes.
Yeah.
Why don't you watch the screen as I yank clothes off of people? You can't say that. You just be like, that's
yeah, there's a few games like that are just
just a Japanese beat 'em up.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it is subject content wise, it's definitely yeah, it's pervy. It is. Yeah. But it's not.
It's pervy, but not in a gratuitous way. The joke is that it's pervy.
Well, yeah, it's making fun of that.
Yeah.
In anime. And so even though it really isn't a gratuitous. It's not doing it to get to get you. It's doing it to make fun of it, and it's really funny. But the most impressive thing about that is Akiba was on my train to work, and it was 2 stops away from where I worked.
Yeah.
So on lunch breaks, my friends and I would just go hang out and go to the restaurants and stuff. And I found those restaurants in the game. Like, that's how 1-to-1 it is.
Really?
Or I was like, oh yeah, like I just need to go down this street, take a right, go a little bit further, take a left, and this will be Super Potato, the retro store. And it is.
That's
like,
amazing.
So if you know, or if you're familiar with Akiba and then you play the game, like...
There's it's Don Quixote that isn't in it, right? That's like the one thing that's not in it.
But it's Home Quixote.
Yeah, like it's totally there, but it's not there.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because Don Quixote is a treasure.
It is. And it's exactly where it is. Like,
really?
And it looks just like it, yeah. So
That's
if you
amazing.
were playing the game, because when you visited...
Is it still a penguin or something else?
It's like a potato-looking thing.
Like generic
it's like
anime.
a blue potato.
Yeah,
so
like a generic like anime
it looks
mascot.
It looks as close as you can get to the penguin.
Yeah. Like ambiguously.
Yeah.
Like, I gotcha.
And like the Sega, like...
Oh, the Sega Cafe?
You can't, like, go inside it.
Right, but it's like...
there. Yeah, so, like, if you played the game, you'd recognize it. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it's like we need to play Shenmue, right? Because, like, that's been on my list for a while. Like, have you ever played it?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Yeah, so I've
played both of them.
Okay, so I've never played it, but I've been wanting to for a long time. Mm. And there's something that made me even more want to play them, and something we need to do when we go back to Japan at some point. Mm. The town where Shenmue takes place, it's recreated... like just like in Akiba Strip. Yeah. And they actually have a Shenmue tour there.
Whoa, that'd be
where
really
they're
cool.
like, this is where this stuff happens in Shenmue.
I don't want to say this in a negative way, but it is like out there.
Oh yeah.
Like it is definitely kind of like not podunk. I'm not saying it's podunk. I'm saying like it is detached from Japan.
Yeah.
Like it's a very quiet town.
Oh yeah, like it's like the... It's like epitome of like it's like completely separate from the like media Japan, like what you see, like it is so detached.
It is. The game those games. Well, I played them. Like my buddy had a Dreamcast, and like I would go over to his place.
He is one of the 5.
Yeah, he's one of the 5 that had a Dreamcast that had Shenmue, and it was so funny because like. We liked that game so much that, I would go to his house, like, every Friday and Saturday, and that's all we would do is play that game. And then I almost want to buy a Dreamcast just to play the game for nostalgia. Yeah. I don't know if it would hold up.
From what I've heard...
It's good. Like, I would play it again.
Yeah. From what I've heard, it does just for completely different reasons. Because mechanically and all that, it's still like a sound game. It's still fun and interesting, but in retrospect, it's very. It's got its quirks. You know what I mean? And they're
especially its terrible voice acting.
Yeah, and it's like
which was terrible back then too.
Yeah, and it's like those things that they are now endearing instead of just bad. Yeah. And so that's good that it has. It's not that it aged well. It aged appropriately, I guess. Yeah. And they just look like such a fun game. It's like the like I mean I don't necessarily want to get into the story, but like the story is just like the most like mishmashed of like stereotypical like not even necessarily anime, but just Japan stories like movie or like.
Well, it's like your dad owns a dojo and a Chinese villain comes in and kills him. So then you're tracking down your father's killer, and you're learning martial arts.
Yeah, it's like...
And doing chores, and spending a lot of money on gotcha machines and arcades.
Yeah, it's just such a weird
It's very
thing.
Weird.
And they're making Shenmue 3, too, so that's interesting. So I'm curious how that goes. Yeah, that's...
I would like an easier way of getting a hold of that game.
I have a Dreamcast, and I want to get those games, but obviously they're probably expensive, but you can also just totally burn the games if you find the files, so
that's true.
I might just do that until I can buy them. Yeah. But yeah, so that's
a lot of old nostalgia.
Yeah.
Which actually segues pretty well
into
our review of Ready Player One.
Yeah.
The movie.
Yes, not the book.
Yeah. And of course we did a whole podcast on our love of the book. and our excitement for the movie. So now you get to hear if we were crushed or if we enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think we'll start without spoilers and then kind of get into spoiler territory. Any opening statement?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it was completely different than what I was expecting.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed the movie, and I enjoyed it enough to go see it again. I haven't yet, but I've enjoyed it enough to where I would see it again. However, I have just as many, if not more, criticisms as I do compliments.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also typically in general, I'm pretty critical of things that I like, just because I feel like that's important. You need to be able to be critical about things you like. But yeah, and so there was a lot of issues, but I still really enjoyed it. It was mostly for it's mostly the spectacle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and well, the thing is it is an adaptation. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the negative reviews of people who loved the book and didn't like the movie was because for some reason they were expecting the movie to follow a 400-page book.
No.
Where the movie, there's a lot. It's almost like it's the same story, but it is drastically different.
Yeah.
From the book. But I feel like it's drastically different from the book so that they could somehow spiritually put everything from the book into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, as much as they physically could. Yeah. So my thing,
they give characters other things to do that they didn't do in the book that another character did, but it somehow all weaves together.
Yeah.
So it's you're seeing these events that happen in the book, but it's through another character, but it's only because it's through that character so that they could have the other characters do
the other thing that was supposed to happen. It just kind of a lot of things happen at once that happen way separately.
Yeah, and I felt like it was for a movie I feel like the book is it's impossible to film.
Well, yeah, and here's why I think it's I don't think it's impossible to film. I think it's impossible to film in one movie.
Oh yeah.
More so than some other books. Mm-hmm. So you look at a book like, let's say, Fellowship of the Ring, right? Mm-hmm. It is a much, much longer book.
Yeah.
But it has a very definitive beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
With a pretty decent pacing. They had to change some things for the pacing to be right. Take some things out, flesh out some things to give it a little more thing. But it was adaptable because there's one beginning, middle, and end. But Ready Player One is very structured, 3 specific arcs with their own beginning, middle.
There's a lot going on in the book.
And I think it's deceptively long because it uses what is essentially cultural shorthand because it doesn't have to explain everything. In Lord of the Rings, that doesn't exist, so it has to tell you. In this, it's just and then they did this, and you're like, oh man, that's rad, because you already know. So what one sentence could be 30 minutes in the film.
Yeah, you're I hopped on a server instead of being I got on my computer. And using the technology that was given to me. Yeah. I opened an application that allows me to surf the internet. Internet. You know what I mean?
Well, not only that, but using because of all the references, it's and then I got in this and I did this, right? Yeah. Like when he goes and does in the book when they go to the Blade Runner. Does the Blade Runner thing. That's maybe a paragraph, I think. Yeah. But it covers if you were to act that out, that's a whole segment because it's he's but you already know this stuff. You already know what it's I did this thing and it's oh yeah, I've seen the movie, so I get it. Mm-hmm. But so it's only 400 pages, but so much happens. There's 3 arcs,
Yeah, and Lord of the Rings, they cut stuff. Mm-hmm. They did. That movie's 3 hours long. You know what I mean? Each movie in Lord of the Rings is a long movie. But but
if you're just getting the story beats.
You don't need to flesh out the multiple times that they had campfires.
Exactly.
Like in a movie, you're like, well, they're just traveling. But in Ready Player One, it takes place over the course of a few years.
At the very minimum, like a year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah. And I want to say more.
Yeah. And I think that's the main problem is the pacing. You know?
Yeah. So and a lot of the criticisms I've heard were, it's just referencing a bunch of stuff. Well, the book referenced a bunch of stuff, and that's just its style. So if that's not your thing, that's not your thing.
Yeah.
But then I've heard of some small, where they talk about, it's so much different than the book. When I left the theater, it was kind of a weird feeling because I'm like, man, that was almost a completely different experience. But at the same time, I felt it was like almost like missing chapters.
Some things.
Some things felt like, that could have been in the book. Like,
yeah.
Everyone's seen the trailer, so this is not a spoiler to say that there's a big race.
Yeah.
When you're watching the movie, you're like, okay, a race never happened in the book. But if a race did happen in the book, it would look exactly like this.
Yeah,
And I think it helps that Klein, the writer of the book, also adapted the movie. So he wrote the screenplay.
Yeah.
So it was like ideas coming. It was kind of weird because I'm like, okay, knowing that these are ideas coming from him, so I kind of feel like validated.
Yeah.
Of the changes, because I'm like, well, at least they're changes that he okayed.
Yeah, and I think that's 100% true. Like, there was a lot of things that happened where it's like, oh yeah, I can totally see it. Like the race, like, yeah, it didn't. It was handled better than I thought.
Yeah.
But like I could see that being like a thing, like that they did between, because like there's a point in time where he's off just gallivanting.
Yeah.
And I could totally see that happening. Yeah. So yeah, that was definitely a good addition. And
then again, trying to get the rights for certain things, like the book is it's impossible to film the book because of all the stuff that's crammed into it.
Yeah.
It can't be one movie, and that's just from legal issues. That's from, again, the pacing.
Oh yeah.
Because in the movie he has to find the 3 keys.
Yeah.
Minor spoiler?
Yes. Very minor.
Very minor. There are no gates in the movie. So in the book he had to get to a gate.
And there was like he would find the key.
Find the key, yeah.
Then you would have to find where the gate was. Then you'd kind of have to do a challenge to reveal the gate.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to do a challenge in the gate
to get the clue for the next key.
Yeah.
That's at least 9 challenges.
Yeah, and that's why...
Try putting 9 of those in a movie.
Yeah, that's why it really, to be properly adapted, needs to be a 3-parter. Even if it was... even if each part was only, like, even if it was like a mini series or something, and it was only like 40 minutes each, it still would have had better pacing because you wouldn't have had to just jump into it because you couldn't give all the characters the time they needed to develop and stuff. And I think it runs into a different, in some ways more exasperated, in other ways not as exasperated problem as Scott Pilgrim had. Oh, yeah. Because that movie is, some aspects of it, again, like you said, it feels like, this is like a what if. Like, this could have happened. But then other aspects of it, it's like, well, there's a lot of things that are fundamentally not as good. Yeah. And it's because that book, that series takes place over the course of, like, an entire year. And there's so much character development and things that happen, which is why... I guess spoiler alert if you haven't watched Scott Pilgrim or something, but whatever, that's on you, man. That's why at the end of the movie, it's weird and it almost seems like he's about to get with knives at the end. Yeah. And then they don't, because in the movie, they don't have enough time to develop Ramona, so it almost makes more sense. Yeah. But then it would defeat the entire point of those characters' arc. Yeah. And so it's really weird in that regard.
Yeah, but I would say... if you went in and you had not read the book Ready Player One and you went into this movie, if you're a nerd, this lets you just fly your nerd flag in a way that you've never experienced ever.
Yeah.
Some people didn't like it. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the reviews that don't like it are because they're like, without the references, this movie is nothing. Well, okay, that is a massive flaw.
Yeah.
But
that's also the point.
That's the point of the movie too. Yeah. If from the trailer you didn't gather that this movie basically hinged on nostalgia, then you might have not been watching the same trailer I watched.
Yeah. And I actually did go see it. One of the people I went to go see it with had never read the book and didn't know anything about it, and he had a blast. He enjoyed it. So. And
even though I've read the book, I had a blast because I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I can separate myself.
Yeah.
I can have a book and love it. I can have a movie and love it. They don't have to be the same thing.
And there's something to be said with because I can go into an adaptation and it be a different thing and still enjoy it. It's like if it's well made, it'll be like, oh yeah, well I mean it's like a new story or whatever. There's something to be said for like the difference between like this where it's an adaptation that's they did the best with what they had to work with, and then you got like an adaptation like the Aragon movie where it's just the people who made that movie didn't care.
And it was bad.
And it's like, since it's a self-contained movie, it's not like, well, if they mess something up, it's going to domino into the next movies or series or whatever else. It's a self-contained thing. So it's... And since it is more about getting to see the things...
It's a spectacle.
It's a spectacle, so it also isn't as important as much as I would have liked to see it, you know?
Yeah, and like the character development, I mean, like the characters are kind of 2D. Like they're like, here's your hero, here's the love interest, here's his friends. Because the movie is just all spectacle. And but at the same time, sometimes it felt more like a video game in a way. Like I know video games can be deep.
Yeah.
But sometimes video games are also just spectacle, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, and I guess that's...
Like, people, dog on Call of Duty, being like, oh, it's just gung-ho this, gung-ho that. But the first time you play Modern Warfare 2, and you're in Washington, and the bombs go off, and you're running through the White House, and that spectacle is unbelievable.
Yeah, back before Call of Duty was like a yearly franchise.
Yeah.
I mean... And
I'm okay with having that Michael Bay video game experience where it's like, listen, plot is just get you to these massive set pieces and have fun with it. And I'm okay with that. Sometimes with movies, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work as well.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But in this instance it does, because again, like it just hinges on like, but I'd like to see those things happen.
And I found myself caring about the characters more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I could see that. Shoto stole the show. Like I won't get into too much until we get into spoilers, but like for the like minute, like maybe 5 minutes total screen time he had, it's like, man, did he make the best of it? That was a character that it's like only passingly. I was like, oh yeah, like I liked that character in the book. He was okay, I guess. In the movie, it's like, man, he's pretty good. So yeah, like some did better, some did worse.
Yep.
Like I feel like Sorrento was a much less compelling or interesting character in the movie because he's played more for jokes as opposed to like a competent person. In the book.
In the book, he's almost like the devil.
But like in a believable way.
In a believable way, like in the book, you're like, yeah, okay, like this guy's threatening, this guy has a presence, and I don't know, like in the book, I guess I pictured him as being a very like handsome, suave guy, like somebody that you could almost find yourself being like, yeah, it's not that bad of a dude.
Yeah, and
in the movie.
They made him almost, like, I wouldn't even say borderline comic relief. Like, he's just, like...
They kind of make a fool out of him. And I thought that the actor, Ben Mendelsohn, I believe?
I believe so, yeah.
Krennic from Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a really good job. It's not his fault.
No, I mean, it's the script.
But his character, we can't get into too many spoilers, but there's like a specific Achilles heel. And I was actually kind of surprised, like, how childishly goofy it was.
Yeah.
And, it almost took me out of the movie to go, but Sorrento was a competent dude in the book. Like, he was a very lethal and smart individual.
Yeah.
In this one, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. That's kind of... Oof. But, other than that, like I said, like... It does lose a lot in certain aspects, but if you're just going there for the spectacle of things, like to see a Gundam go and do stuff and all that, and it's like, that's pretty good. I think is that all we got for non-spoilers?
Yeah, we're gonna have to start hitting some spoilers.
Yeah, so all right. I mean, like, ending statements for the non-spoiler section. If you don't care about the plot or any of that, and you just want to have fun.
And the plot's not bad.
It's not terrible, but if you're not too concerned with
it's like an action movie plot.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I definitely, like
if you just want to have fun,
3/4 of the internet love it.
Yeah.
1/4 of the internet doesn't. Rotten Tomatoes, it's at a 75. IMDb, I think it's at an 8.
Yeah.
And I want to say its lowest score is like a 6.5 somewhere else. That's hypercritical on stuff.
Yeah.
So it's got a positive, and it deserves it. And I think Spielberg's made worse movies. He has made infinitely better movies.
Yeah.
But it feels like a Spielberg film.
Yeah, it could have...
Down to the soundtrack's great too.
I don't think anybody else could have done as good a job as him. And I don't think anybody else's name could have gotten as many of the things that they got, licensing-wise.
Yeah, he pulled it off, and I think that is something that is a feat of its own.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess this is your last warning. Get out of here, you goober. What are you doing here? We're in the spoilers.
Go watch the movie, because you're into the spoilers section.
Yeah. What are you doing here? Why are you still... Stop it. Stop listening. Go and get out of here.
Yeah. We,
But yeah, so I guess what's the first thing you want to touch on in the spoiler section? There's so much. Yeah, we just were talking about Sorrento. I guess that's a good place to start. The villain.
Yeah. Sorrento. Spoilers, there's not a lot. I thought his avatar was really kind of cool. His avatar looked more suave and evil-ish.
Yeah, I almost think it worked too well in that regard, because it needed to be more understated, I feel.
Yeah.
Unless, actually literally Clark Kent.
Yeah.
But I liked that, but I also didn't like it.
But yeah, so the Achilles heel that we were talking about is his password on his giant throne leather chair is it Big Daddy 69?
Something like that.
Or Boss Daddy?
Something 69. Really stupid, yeah.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just lets that happen?
Like Spielberg made a 69 joke? Wow. Yeah. Okay. That just seems under Spielberg. But it does deliver a laugh. It just kind of...
Well, my main thing...
And he's got it taped to his chair.
Yeah.
So that anybody who, spoiler alerts, can get to that chair or read it now knows his password.
Yeah, and that was... There was a couple changes there that kind of made it not make a lot of sense, and that's one. But again, he didn't come off nearly as threatening or convincing, and because the whole thing in the book is he has the position he has because he can do the job.
Yeah.
It hinges in the movie. It hinges completely on he interned for Halliday.
Yeah.
And so he coasts on that, even though he doesn't actually know anything.
Yeah, he's definitely the throw money at it businessman, whereas in the book he could jump into the game and play it. Yeah,
and so when he makes a mistake like that, it's and also it wasn't in the book. It made more sense in that they met in the actual place, because he makes note of how calm he appears and how like poker face and all that, but he's like, but he probably has software that just makes it to where he always has that.
Yeah,
and they weren't. It wasn't like he was being projected into and looking at the real office.
Yeah, so you're talking about like when they actually meet face to face. Yeah. So in the book, they're both in a simulation of IOI.
Yeah.
And it's the two avatars talking. Whereas in the movie, it's Sorrento in an actual office, and Parsifal's seeing a live feed of it.
Yeah, and that's why was Parsifal in his avatar?
Yeah, but as a hologram.
Yeah, as a hologram.
Yeah.
And then, but that's how he sees the sticky noted password. Mm-hmm. And then it's he had no presence. Sorrento had no presence.
No.
There, because and it was almost chilling in the book. That was one of the because the book is I liken it to a trashy romance novel for nerds.
Yeah.
But that was one of the scenes in there that was legit good, because he gives him this pitch, and then they kind of banter back and forth a little bit, and then when he doesn't give the answer Sorrento's looking for, he's like, hey, we're not done talking, and he's like, yeah, I think I am later, and he's like, we're not done talking, Wade, and it's just kind of chilling, oh yeah. What? And then he delivers that I'm gonna give you this offer one more time. Yeah. And it's really threatening, but he doesn't. I mean, he does threaten him, but not as overtly, I guess, in a way. Yeah. It's almost is execu speak, even though he's literally threatening to kill him. Yeah. And it's so cold, and it's oh in man.
Whereas in the movie, he is look at me, I'm a bad guy.
Yeah.
Which, hey, I mean,
yeah,
you can't develop, you know what I mean? They you kind of do have to make a static character in that regard.
They also had the weird, that one-off character that never comes back. That was their pseudo buddy or
IROC?
Yeah, IROC.
Because in the book, he's just kind of this jerk of a guy and sells out the secret. In this one, they made him more of a threatening,
Yeah, well, it's not even he's sold out. It's just that he bragged that he knew them. Yeah. And then it's and it wasn't even a sellout and a, oh, I'm going to make my buck. It's just he was so desperate for attention. Yeah. That he starts talking.
Whereas in this one, he's a bounty hunter.
Yeah. The character was I actually really like that character.
It's fun. I don't like T.J. Miller.
Yeah.
I don't like him as an actor.
Neither.
He's obnoxious and awful to me. But I liked his character. I don't know how that happened.
It's it just worked. Where it's
yeah.
How are we doing? It's when he asks for status or update or whatever, and he's well, I don't know, I got this thing going on with my neck. It's carpal tunnel for your neck, if that's a thing. It's that's not what what are you doing? And somehow the delivery of that, honestly, not that good a joke, he nails.
Yeah. So he was good.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too into every single character and stuff.
No.
I will say I was nervous about Artemis when I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
Because she's very different than how she is described in the
book. Or her avatar?
The avatar.
Okay. How was she? Yeah, I'm trying to remember how her avatar was.
So her avatar looks like her.
Just stylized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one is a very Leaf. And they describe Artemis as being
the word
curvy.
Is Rubenesque.
Yeah, Rubenesque.
Which is not overtly insulting, but it's also not very flattering.
Yeah. Whereas in the movie, she's a fire pixie looking thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, her avatar.
Her
avatar was curvy. Yeah. Her in real life was described as Rubenesque, and it's she definitely wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, in the movie, no, they definitely picked a very cute
she
actress.
Wasn't super hot or anything.
No, it wasn't they stuck Megan Fox or like a sexy person in there, but she's very cute. Like she's very and attractive. So, but it was the Avatar. So I was really worried about the Avatar because like I liked Artemis in the book. I've heard some people complain that they say that
she's generic gamer girl.
Yeah, but like she was really cool, and all the stuff that she liked, I liked, and in the book, I really was like, oh man, like she's awesome. And I hope Wade doesn't muck this up, type thing. He can't because he's the main character in the book, but like like I actually felt for him, and I was like, man, she's like the girl, like I would fall for, and she actually reminded me a lot of my fiance. So like I found myself very invested in Artemis in the book, whereas in the movie, that's not how I pictured her.
Yeah.
But when she whips out the M4A1 pulse rifle, Be Still My Beating Heart.
Yeah.
Because I squealed. So Aliens, if you don't know, is like my favorite movie.
Oh yeah.
And so the fact that Artemis, who was already threatening to steal my heart, pulled out a pulse rifle. I actually liked her more.
I thought she was really well done. I wasn't sure either. With both of their avatars in the trailers, I was like, man, those characters look kind of dumb. But then once I saw it in motion, I was like, okay, they look exactly the way they should for like teenagers, like like Avatar. And all that.
They look really cool. And H in the trailer, I went, oh no.
Yeah, he was a lot better
in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. H was awesome.
H was awesome. Like, I would say H was way cooler in the movie than he was in the book.
Yeah, because in the book he was...
Spoiler. She.
Yes. In the book, she was just like the coolest like Fonzie dude ever.
Yeah, think Fred from like Scooby-Doo with armor.
Well, what I mean, like he was described as looking like Fred. Yeah. But like he was like the most like impossibly cool dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there wasn't much in the way of personality. It was just like blank slate, the coolest guy. Yeah. Where it's like, man, I would want to be friends with that dude. Yeah. But like we would never be friends.
He's like the Sega kid incarnate.
Yeah, but then like in the movie, she is legit like the best, like one of the like possibly the best character.
Yeah, I would argue, and very funny, very endearing, and for being like a giant bio orc.
Yeah, I wasn't super into the Avatar.
No,
but
it worked really well.
It did work. I would have preferred something a little different. I don't know what. Yeah, but something different. But I can get it.
And I could see because the twist.
That coming off bad.
I thought, they made a big burly orc so that the twist is even kind of like a bigger twist because it's this chick picked like a big ugly hulking thing, but like in like the third trailer they showed that it's like they gave away that huge twist.
I'm not because it's like knowing who it was in the trailer was super obvious. I'm not sure. Like I'm curious if somebody would piece that together.
Maybe
because there's only so many characters, right? And so like it would have to be.
Yeah. So I don't know, but
yeah, I think both H in the real world and in the game were both really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like no, definitely. I even though it really breaks the character in a way, like narratively wise, it doesn't make sense. Like H never having seen The Shining and being afraid the whole time was hilarious.
Also, let's back up. Oh my gosh. I was not... So, there's an entire 20-minute section of the movie that is The Shining, and I stood up in the theater and cheered, because that's one of my favorite horror movies. Oh, yeah. I did not see that coming. I had no idea that was coming. And then they're like, oh, The Shining. I'm like, oh, that's a cool reference. And then
they go into the movie.
Well, they go in the movie, and then the soundtrack picks up. Mm-hmm. They're using shots, actual shots from the film, and juxtaposing the characters. I'm thinking, like technically it's blowing my mind because I can't believe that I'm actually seeing it. And then for a PG-13 movie, they actually show the room and they show the witch chick in the room, and I was like, that's the actual footage from the movie.
Yeah.
But with the I'm sorry.
It was that was pretty.
I think that was probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, I've got mixed opinions on it, but it was really good. Yeah. There was just a lot of where it's like, because he is, or she again, is so terrified of the movie, doesn't want to be there, and then it's like, she sees the girls and she's like, "Oh, hey, little girls. Yeah. Do you know where like I'm supposed to be going? Or, oh, where are you going?" And like follows her, and it's like, "Oh no, H, you need to not."
Yeah. The character acted uncharacteristically, but maybe you could say that she was so scared that she's just going along with it.
Well, I mean, it's like it's not that it didn't make sense given how they established that like she hadn't seen the movie. Yeah. It was just funny, like as the viewer being like, "Oh, yeah, you need to
that was great." That being said, if you are a teenager in 2040 and you have not caught a single reference to "come play with us," I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the only thing, actually, now that you mention it. It's like, because
I think everybody, even people who have never seen that movie, know of the little ghost girls.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, even if she had never watched the movie, I feel like she would at least know enough about it. Like, she'd get the Cliff Notes or whatever.
Yeah, it's like if you said Star Wars to somebody who's never seen it, they would go, "I am your father."
Yeah, they would at least get that. They would at least know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would be a little unrealistic. But
it was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny. The only major, I guess, plot point that I thought was really dumb. I mean, they had some nitpicky things about other stuff. Because they don't establish the world as being the way it is in the book that much, it just seems kind of not that good. Mm-hmm. The whole resistance thing was like, what? It just kind of like slowed down the movie, but didn't really do much.
Yeah, like I could see where it was kind of odd to have a resistance.
It didn't, because it didn't service the plot, is what I think. And so
because like Artemis could be fighting against IOI for her reasons without being in a resistance.
Well, and it made, because her character was she was so much of an isolationist. Yeah. It doesn't make sense that like she would be so against like forming any bonds when she literally does that.
Yeah, I feel like the resistance was only there so that they could get all the characters together in a fast, quick manner that just, you know what I mean? It was like, let's just open this door, get them in there, and then close that door. And so I think that was the weakest part of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little nitpicky things. I wasn't very fond of the Morrow twist with the butler. Or how he got the coin. I was like, that's kind of... There's room in that movie for him to have been blowing off steam somewhere. Yeah. And got the coin the regular way.
Yeah, I think they wanted to give Og more because he's the one that helps everyone in the book. But I think like trying to explain him and put him in everything might have been a little difficult. But at the same time, like he could have been the DJ at his club. Yeah. They could have done more with Og, and I thought that it was kind of weird that they didn't. Especially having Simon Pegg.
Yeah, it was very weird the way they went about it. I feel like the butler thing was a little weird and didn't quite land. Mm-hmm. Especially since it was supposed to be an NPC that turned out to be him. But then, like, if it was an NPC, or if it was actually him, but it was believable as an NPC, it means he's literally always there, I guess? Yeah. And it was just like, it was clumsy enough to get me asking questions. You know what I mean?
And I love Simon Pegg. Yeah. I really do. I think that he was the weakest link of the whole movie.
Yeah, because he didn't... He seemed out of place.
He seemed out of place. He didn't have much to do. And for some reason, they were giving him an American accent. And it kept slipping. And it was like, why can't he just be British? Like, just let him be himself. Like, he's beloved. Like, just... I don't know. And
especially since they don't go into their past.
No.
So it's not because they were childhood friends, but they don't really talk about that.
Yeah.
So you could just assume they met in college or something.
True. And I forgot who the actor who plays Halliday, but I want to say that he is the strongest performance, and he was incredible. Like anytime he was on screen, like I felt for him, I felt with him, like I wanted to like give him a hug and tell him everything was that performance was outside the bounds of what that movie should have been.
Yeah.
Like he nailed it, and he was very good. And to not give Simon Pegg anything to work with was kind of
not fair.
It's like Batman versus a villain. Like Batman's a good character, but he's kind of compared to the Joker.
Yeah, it's most of his villains.
Right.
Like, you've got to really give Batman something to work with.
So it's kind of like Christian Bale having to be Batman against Heath Ledger's Joker. Like Heath Ledger is killing it.
Yeah.
But Christian Bale is also a very good actor, but he has nothing.
He has nothing to work with.
He has nothing to work with. He's just Batman.
Yeah, that's actually like the best. Now I'm thinking about it. It really does make sense because all of those scenes, it's like he's really just like Halliday's just knocking it out of the park and like really selling me on it, and then Simon Pegg is like, I'm trying, but have you seen the script?
Yeah.
Like I think that might be a line. I think at some point he looks at the camera and says that, and it's
like, listen, guys.
And the yeah, there was a couple. I'd be remiss to point out there were a couple improvements, even though really all of the challenges were kind of not that good. Because without getting too far into it, they all hinged on Halliday as opposed to the things he liked, which is what the things actually were. The one change that I think fixed something was at the end, the final like thing is he knows the password on the computer, right? Because he figured out the thing about Halliday, but that seemed weird that he would put that as a thing. But like the last challenge being, because he knew Halliday loved that girl, and so that was the password on the computer. But that seems weird that he would have that be the last check.
Yeah.
And instead it being like they walk into the room with all the gold and all that, and he's like, just sign this contract and it's all yours. And him being like, no, this is the last challenge. This is the like, no, that's not Halliday.
Yeah.
That being the final challenge, I think made a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, I actually really liked.
And just that last scene where they're in the place, like in the room and all that, I think was really
good.
Top notch.
I enjoyed that adventure was one of the challenges.
Yeah.
Just because of the Easter egg in it.
Yeah.
Like that was a very cool thing. And it was funny, the whole time I was watching it, I kept leaning over to everyone who was watching it with me, and I was like, I think it's gonna be adventure.
Yeah.
Like I think it's gonna be adventure. And then they're like, adventure, and I'm like, it's the Easter egg. Like, you know, and so that was kinda neat.
A little on the nose, but I like it.
Yeah. It was a little on the nose for all of like the professionals that IOI like. I'm saying
none of them got it.
Yeah, there's like 200 of these like,
and then the
Geek Squad people.
Yeah.
That like know everything, and I'm like, guys, come on! If you can't put together, Easter egg with an adventure, like, come on, that's your job.
That's literally you have one job.
That is your only job.
And then the one person who does suggest it, knows about the Easter egg, and then once they beat it. She's just like, I guess that wasn't it. It's like, you know that there's an Easter egg.
Yeah.
It's established. You know that there's an Easter egg. How are you not like...
There's literally a character that's like, every fiber of my being is the game adventure. And I'm going to so drop the ball on the one thing that's important in my life.
Yeah, like...
It's kind of weird, but...
Yeah, but I mean, like, But hey, we got Mechagodzilla versus RX-78-2, so...
Yeah, so, okay.
Oh, man.
The RX-78 is definitely in the trailer. I definitely somehow forgot that was in the movie. I guess because I was, like, so into the movie.
Yeah.
And the second it shows up... Because first of all, I didn't think Mechagodzilla would be in it. And I'm staring...
I think the only reason they got away with that... First of all, do they ever actually say Mechagodzilla?
They do.
Okay, they do, but it's not the iconic appearance. I think they got
different.
They got the rights to the name, but I think they were just stingy enough to not give them the rights.
Well,
to the appearance.
Warner Brothers now co-owns
really
Godzilla stuff. Yeah, because they're making the Godzilla movies, the legendary Warner Brothers ones. So I think they're able to get the rights. But yeah, it definitely looks different.
Yeah,
it's got arms. It's
it was a little weird. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't as good as just the iconic.
Yeah, if it was a dude in a suit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that would be the best, but
but they did play the Godzilla theme when it comes up and when it's fighting, and then the RX-78, it's just
they Gundam'd the hell out of it.
It's a Gundam on a big screen fighting Mechagodzilla, surrounded by mech warrior mechs in a giant battle in which Chucky
everything was there.
And Master Chief are all fighting with the Ninja Turtles and the Battletoads, and you're like, okay, listen.
I can't.
I have complaints. But they're gone.
Yeah. There's so much that was weak about the movie, but then just that battle scene, everything that's been leading up to that, and
it's weird because there's very weak points to the movie, but then there's incredibly good high points of the movie, and when it all comes together, I just really liked it. At the end of the day, I loved the movie, and sue me if you didn't.
Yeah.
Because it was fun, and I got references to Chestbursters and Mortal Kombat and Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and
call it cheap writing, but it was pretty awesome to watch.
The only thing is, I'd say Daito didn't get he got the Gundam moment, obviously.
Yes.
But he got almost no development at all, or nothing, no characterization.
No.
But then they funneled it all into Shoto, who was just the sassiest
little 11.
Yeah, it's and when he looks at him and he's and he's yeah, I know, I'm 12. What am I supposed to wear a sign that says "Kill me first"?
Yeah.
It's all right, yeah, okay, I like you.
We're running a little over, but I will say, I know Spielberg didn't want to reference his own movies.
Mm-hmm.
There is a actual real world car chase while the characters are in the Oasis at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I really think Spielberg missed an opportunity for H, who's the driver, to have to somehow get back into the game and have Show.
Yeah.
Little 11-year-old strap blocks to his feet and be no time for love possible. Driving a car. If they had made a short round reference, I know that's probably people are probably pump your brakes, Paul. You can't have an Asian kid with a broken accent driving a car. That was okay for Indiana Jones, but not now. It's okay. I'm telling you, it's totally okay.
Specifically because it's Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Because it's referencing that.
Exactly.
If it's any other context, it's no, dude, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And you'd be right for saying, no, stop that. But being
Parsifal goes in for the kiss.
Especially if it's...
No time for kiss, Parsifal.
Because he didn't have a broken accent, if he did it, it would be not, oh, he can't speak. It would be a reference. It would be the character referencing the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that would have made it okay.
Yeah.
But that was... yeah.
Oh, and super big spoiler, sorry. It's really funny, the Iron Giant goes down, and you're oh, that's sad, because the Iron Giant...
yeah, I know.
And then it throws out the Terminator thumb as it's going into the lava, and, I lost it. Because, listeners, Terminator 2 and Aliens 2, or Aliens, are, my favorite all-time movies. You will never convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
So, having references to both of my favorite movies... that made it worth it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I recommend it. If you're a nerd, if you call yourself a nerd, go see the movie. Even if you end up not liking it, I think it would be a disservice to just... You're going to see something and you're going to enjoy it.
You will get some value. You will get the price. If you're really not sure, catch a matinee. Mm-hmm. You'll get your money's worth, if only for one or two scenes that you just absolutely are yeah, that did it. Okay. Because it's just fun. It's fun. Like it's just a fun movie.
It is.
Obviously it could have been great. Like, but there's no way they're gonna get a 3-movie deal for that movie.
No,
it just wasn't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if they had, fantastic. But they didn't. They only had 1 movie to get as much as they could.
Yeah, so. and like I said, you know, like the one part, like the flick sync. I keep saying we're nearing the end, but the flick sync stuff, like with War Games and Monty Python, like they technically did do it with The Shining. They didn't have to act out the whole movie, but it's there.
Yeah, I did. You know I did appreciate that.
Playing a video game challenge is in there. Like,
I get why. I guess from a narrative point, they based the challenges off of Halliday's personal life. But again, it's like okay, fine, but all right. It would have been cool if It would have been cool if one of the challenges was, actually playing like Joust.
Yeah.
Maybe not like actually riding the ostriches or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the ostriches are in the sequence.
Yeah.
They're in the Planet Doom sequence.
Yeah.
You can see them. And they like hit dudes with their spears and the dudes turn into eggs, which is pretty awesome. But it would have been...
It would have been better. But, you know, whatever. You get what you get.
Mm-hmm.
All things considered, though, I really enjoyed it. I mean, and like I said, like as much as I've criticized and praised it, like I could do both for a lot. There's tons of things in this movie that I could probably tear apart that I'm just like, I don't know about that. But
I liken it to the Star Wars movies.
Oh, the original Star Wars movies were... There's a lot that you can tear apart on those. Like
any
Star Wars, yeah.
And you could literally... Like, I could talk about how much I love it, and I could also tear it apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have fun doing both.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how Ready Player One... Like, even its bad moments that I'm tearing apart, like, I'm still passionately talking about it.
Yeah.
And then the parts I loved, I still love.
What it basically boils down to is if you go in there looking to not like it, you're not going to like it. If you go in there just because you want to like have a good time and enjoy yourself, you will do that as well.
Yeah.
It's all the mindset that you go in with. And so I can understand why somebody wouldn't like it, but because one of the people that I went to go see it with didn't like it. But I could also tell that he wasn't intending on liking it when he showed up. So it's like you're not going to if you go in with that mindset.
Yeah. You know? If you go into a movie not wanting to like the movie, why are you wasting your time and money?
Yeah, so
that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, you know, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, have fun.
Yeah. What
are you doing with your life if you're not having fun? Exactly. Why do you go see a movie that you don't like unless you know. I mean, sometimes seeing a movie you don't like on purpose so you can tear it apart is fun.
Yeah.
But if you're just going to not have a good time, like I can totally see enjoying ripping this movie apart because I could do it for hours. I still enjoyed it. But like legitimately just not enjoying your time, that's what I don't get, man.
Yeah. Like I'll say this, like I'll buy it. Like when this movie comes out, it'll be in my collection.
Blu-ray for sure. Yeah.
So
it's going to have special features. Think about how many Master Chiefs were cut from that movie. We only got like 5 Master Chiefs. There's probably like at least 10 more behind the scenes.
It has to be.
Ah, man. Could you imagine that? 15 Master Chiefs? Boy, howdy. That's a world I want to live in.
They even got Duke Nukem, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's...
Duke Nukem got nuked. It's pretty awesome. Go see the movie.
I love this movie. It's so stupid. It is the stupidest movie I've ever seen, but I love it so much.
It's great, yeah.
It's like, man. But yeah, anyways.
And now I'm going to go reread the book.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, all right, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
As always.
Listening.
You know, subscribe if you want to see more. We also do, you know, like our parody and sketch comedy videos. I know they haven't been incoming as much as we would like. But, you know, we're...
I think we got a good one coming up.
Yeah, we got a few good ones coming up. And, you know, let us know what we want to start a conversation. So let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, don't like, share, whatever you're going to do. But we will catch you next week.
Bye-bye.